These days, there's a great need for data and information, and more than that, detailed and granular data and information. So here we are in Limassol, Cyprus, at the Yacht Club in Limassol Marina, and I'm joined by Pavel Kishniak. Hello, Pavel.
Andrew, great to be here.
Nice to see you. And actually, this whole data revolution that's happening in our industry at the moment is very interesting, and it's something that spiked my interest for sure for quite some time. You're spearheading the whole revolution in terms of brokers and traders being able to get hold of the exact data that will refine their trading experience, as well as keep the brokers in line with the current increasing technology that's used in regulation.
Yes, very happy to be in this position actually, because in our company we believe that every single decision that we make is data driven. So we try to use the same approach towards our clients, both retail and brokers. So what we came up with over the years, originally, let me just give you a little bit background maybe about the company. We launched Trade4 as a tool for retail traders, right? Because I come from FX sales background. I've done sales myself for quite some time. And one thing I wish I had when I was a sales guy is a clear way to be able to say, okay, what are my transaction costs with a particular broker and how good is my execution, right? Because one thing I was really getting tired of when I was working in institutional sales is hearing the exact same thing over and over again. Every broker is saying the same thing. We have the tightest spreads, we have the fastest execution, we have the deepest liquidity, and hopefully these are all true, but how do you actually verify that, right?
Well, especially when they're in some cases, there are a lot of companies using the same white-labeled infrastructure.
Exactly. Yeah, so this was the time for us when we decided, okay, we have to do something about it. We have to make up a way to help traders navigate their way around this. So this is how the Trade4 idea was born. Yeah, the original idea was to provide an instrument for retail traders to be able to measure the transaction costs, both visible and hidden, like slippage, requotes, and rejects, and at the same time measure execution quality down to millisecond, tick by tick, and compare that to the rest of the market. So we achieved that by aggregating over 100 brokers. We analyzed 140 instruments, including major FX, metals, energy, and 20 crypto instruments. And we provided all in real-time basis. And anything that the trader wants to see regarding his execution, they can do it now with Trade4, the original idea, the original Trade4 solution.
I think that's actually very timely as well at the moment, because you have brokerages which need to be able to explain. Traders nowadays are becoming very astute, and some of them we had our conference last week in London, 120 executives there, some of which were hedge funds and portfolio managers and proprietary traders who developed all their own software and were connecting their own platforms. Everything they wanted to do was to use data-driven analytics to be able to analyze their own performance as well as the execution they're getting. And this is in line with the current RTS 27 regulations, MiFID, for execution, for best execution. So what you're doing is some kind of holistic solution that allows a technological topography for brokers to actually streamline their whole process of execution and trade order routing and trade repository reporting.
Precisely, yes. So now, as we developed the product, we stumbled upon the fact that what we've built actually turns out to be exactly what regulators are looking for. Our first product, the first commercial product that we actually charge money for, is RTS 27 and 28, was born out of realization that what we've built for retail traders actually is exactly what the regulators also want to see. They want to see what are the trading costs, right? It's one of the reports under RTS 27, and they want to see the execution quality of the broker versus its own feed, and of the broker versus the reference feed, which are exact columns inside the report. And they want to see the execution by instrument down to milliseconds, which is exactly what we do. And on top of that, we've built a very comprehensive mechanism of collecting that data and storing it, because that in itself is another big challenge that we had to tackle, which sort of brought us to another product that we're now offering as well. So yes, RTS 27 is, I think it's a great initiative. Being new to the market, unfortunately, it's still very challenging to many brokers, because effectively what they will need to do in-house, they will need to build a very similar system that we've been building for the last almost 4 years. And it's not an easy undertaking.
And actually, you have a big problem with it. It would cost. You'd have to do all of the. You'd have to restructure the entire technological infrastructure of a brokerage, which is something which a lot of brokers, especially small to medium-sized ones, don't want to do. It's a not only an IT project, but it's the sort of thing that big consultancies like Accenture and Fujitsu Siemens get themselves involved in banks. It's not something that a small to medium-sized broker wants to get themselves involved in, which is why white-labeled platforms such as MT4 are so popular. So to be able to do this and do it as a plug-and-play solution, to be able to work out how execution is conducted across so much granular data is a really fitting solution for the retail side on both the trader and the institutional side.
Yes, absolutely. I think you nailed you hit the nail on the head, because when the smaller smaller broker has to comply with the same requirements that a large bank has to comply with, it's a little bit out of the weight category. And honestly speaking, I don't think it's making much sense to do in-house solutions like that. So that's why I think where we can come in and complement perfectly any broker that doesn't want to do it in-house and wants to entrust us with these needs, we can absolutely meet and exceed their expectations for this reporting. So we currently connect to major bridges. Therefore, we're able to provide seamless integration, fast onboarding, and in terms of the quality of the report itself, because the sort of background of Tradefora is comparing multiple feeds in real time at the same time, we're able to do great reference pricing, and we're able to do it with millisecond precision, which is something a lot of brokers also strive to solve, because I think the most interesting things happen within the second itself. Yeah, it's easy to measure execution to a second, but I think all the exciting stuff is done within that second. So milliseconds is what we need to do. So yes, RTS 2728 is definitely the product that we can fully support, and it comes with partner portal, which is providing brokers with real-time access, very visual information, some additional tools. And we also offer a solution for storing the underlying market data. One thing that we're seeing now more and more is regulators, actually, and clients can come in and say, look, why don't you show me that particular trade and your market depths on that instrument at that very moment when the trade took place. And if that happened more than 30 days ago, not necessarily even your liquidity provider will be able to give you that, because storing so much data is not an easy task and it's not cheap. And that's one thing that we've sort of had to evolution to in-house, because we were a startup that grew into a company, and in order to save costs, we had to find a way to compress the data. When we just started working on, this is our second product, the tick guard, we call it, because we compile tick by tick data. When we just started, we were storing the data with a factor of 1 to 6 compression rate, and now we're able to do it with a factor of 1 to 40.
That actually saves a lot of money in terms of cloud hosting for brokerages. If you're using AWS Cloud, which a lot of brokers are now, because the regulatory reporting is all done through AWS Cloud. So you have, if you're using a trade repository service, which you have to, it's all done it's submitted to the public domain by AWS Cloud. So that's now a really important part of our industry. So basically AWS Financial Systems, which is what the Amazon service that most brokerages and most reporting and repositories are using, if you're doing that and you're compressing it down to that, you're basically saving a broker all of that hosting space that they won't need to lease from AWS.
Correct. Yes, because we have the infrastructures there already. We use AWS for our own needs as well. It's absolutely scalable infrastructure. It also fully GDPR compliant, so brokers don't need to worry about that. And like I said, another major, in my opinion, advantage of using the solution TickGuard, which comes as a sort of add-on to RTS 27 and RTS 28, is the fact that you can look up the data. We provide a very visual interface which allows you to go in, input the data that you're looking for, and our system queries that. Because even if you store that data in-house, let's say, for argument's sake, you decided to store it in-house, you will not be able to query the data. It will take up a lot of space. It will cost you about 8,000 euro for the first year of storage if you have about 600 instruments. Yes, and it goes up exponentially year after year. So storing large data is no joke, and we do believe that it requires comprehensive solutions like what we built right now. So that's why I think these two products complement each other very nicely.
I also think that that's part and parcel of the way to streamline the brokerage, and also for everybody who's operating, whether it's the brokerage itself or the liquidity provider. Brokers can analyze the quality of liquidity they're getting from their liquidity provider, which is really important at the moment.
Yes, everything stems from liquidity. In the end of the day, the broker is only as good as the LPs that the broker is using when it comes to execution, right? So, and liquidity is data, right? In the end of the day, it is tick by tick, level by level, right? And there could be a lot of levels that you need to store. And sometimes, from the compliance officer standpoint, the most complicated cases is when the clients are seeing slippage, and the reason why they're seeing slippage is because what they see in the visual interface of the platform is not necessarily what the market depth is at the time, right? Especially for large ticket traders. And those are the larger clients that you want to make sure are happy when they trade with you. So if you don't have the data to back up your execution, you're going to have issues with both clients and the regulators, right? So speaking of the LPs, which brings me to another point. Another product that we carry is called FeedGuard. Right, so the FeedGuard is the product that geared towards collecting the data from multiple price feeds, analyzing the quality of the price feed in real time, the quality being top of the book, right? The market depths, the refresh rate, which is very important for HFT clients.
Yes, especially if there's HFT or traders using exiting trades very quickly to avoid prices that don't update properly.
Correct. Yeah. So the FeedGuard, again, the idea behind this product came sort of serendipitously because a broker came to us and said, guys, we need help with our price feeds. A rather large broker. We have clients that are able to identify latencies in our feed and scalp our feed on it. And we know about this issue, but we can't do anything about it. Right? So knowing that you're already collecting all this pricing, can you help us identify where exactly the issues are? And if you can tell us in real time, we'll be able to address them sooner than at the end of the day, right? So this is how the idea came about, driven by the market. And we were able to solve that issue. And now we're able to provide 3 types of alerts, right? We connect to the broker, and we're able to see, are there any latencies on any instrument? Are there any stale pricing taking place, which is a very tricky issue.
It's one that's often overlooked as well.
Right. We've spoken to even experienced dealers, guys that help other dealing desks manage their risk. And even they confirm that stale pricing and the ability to identify stale pricing is one of the hardest things for them as well to catch. So because we have so many feeds, our system can do it using machine learning tools and real-time analytics. And the third alert that we also are able to generate is obviously the outliers, right? If the broker price feed has any prices that no one else in the market is showing, we're able to catch that in real time and send an alert to the broker to identify the issue.
That's excellent. I think the whole solution is really something which has been in development for some time. You know, you're an expert at this with over 20 years experience. You know, I remember going back all those years in your international expansions into China and North America and so forth for some of the largest brokerages. So on a consultancy basis, you've seen the need for this across every aspect of the industry. And actually, it's a really good time to do so. So I really wish you well with it. And I think it's something which brokerages should really take seriously. So thank you very much. Nice to see you, Pavel.
Thank you, Andrew.